Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again, and we've got a pretty interesting matchup here. Black Yellow Luffy versus Rob Lucci. And I pretty much know that this matchup is like a 20% chance that I can win it, and that is super reliant on me seeing a lot of my top end as Lucci. It's also reliant on seeing a lot of blockers and being able to counter out of some of the early swings that Luffy goes for. If he's going 8k, you know, on turn 2 or something like that, you know, we're just going to be taking that. But the 6Ks and the 5Ks and even sometimes the 7Ks, that's what I'm really looking to potentially try and, you know, get out of. But Spandine doing me no favors, or Spandum doing me no favors and just finding me Spandine here. So no 2K counters, but off of the 2 searches so far, my opponent has found a 5-cost Sabo as well as the 2-cost Sabo. Unfortunately, I'm just going to have to take that 7K swing because we don't have any 2Ks. But lucky for us, having the 5-cost Sabo in hand is going to be very useful for us to cycle the following turn. But I'm just going to go ahead and hard play out the Lucci because I know that at some point in the game I'm gonna have to get aggressive, and having a 6k body on the board does at least like save me a Dawn, which is very nice. And with this 6k swing, I can counter out like pretty comfortably because I want these 2 cards in trash anyways. But he plays Perona, which I thought was really interesting. Perona is, I think it's kind of like one of those cards that you do see in some lists, but I haven't seen in many. It's a really interesting tech choice, and he ended up getting another hand, or a hand destruction out of, you know, playing that down onto the field. But I drew for turn getting the 8-cost Sabo, and now 5-cost Sabo is going to cycle into an Issho for me. So this is absolutely massive. I'm seeing all of my top end cards. I'm very, very happy about this, but I am thinking, is it a little too greedy to be keeping all of them in hand? I don't know. I think that I really want to, and so I am going to decide to be very, very greedy here. I'm just having 1k counter in hand, but I have all 3 8 costs that I would want, and now I'm probably staring down like a 5k swing from Perona and, like, you know, a swing from Luffy as well. But he does go 6, and I get another Moria, and another 6 is going to at least allow me to get the Spandum counter with the Sabo block. I want to try and stay as healthy as possible. I know my hand size is dwindling, but the following turn I will be able to play down my first 8 cost. Issho does feel very good, but it is also kind of scary because if I don't rip the appropriate cards, then it just gets removed. So I do get Issho on curve, which is going to be great. He's only got 6 cards exactly, and I get the Ice Age, which is massive. Getting Ice Age is actually fantastic right here, because if he doesn't, if he does have the Rocket Luffy, you know, we just saved our Issho, and Issho is going to be very problematic for him for the rest of the game. And being able to remove the Sabos if he can't, you know, constantly just repeat playing that card over and over again, it puts them, you know, in a position that now a 4-cost Lucci can pretty much just remove the entire board, and you love to see it. So that's what we're shooting for right now. But passing the turnover, I realized I just had my normal SR Issho on board, and my beautiful SP was sitting in trash, so wanted to swap it out and get that beauty out there looking good. But he does hit me with a Garp, just trying to find the pieces he needs. My camera's going a little bit wild. I'm not entirely sure why it's rotating so much. Sometimes the table gets bumped and, you know, it'll just rotate on its axis. But he's got a couple of, you know, pretty annoying plays he could do here. We know that he has the 5-cost Luffy that he picked up from a previous search. A 6k swing here is also very annoying because I only have the 1k counter. So I could block and give him the 1k, but if he has Rush... Well, actually, no, Rush Ace isn't viable here because he's only at 3 life. But we are just going to see another 5-cost Sabo coming down. We haven't seen many of the 2Ks to get him to that 0 life threshold. So we've been able to keep his hand size low, as well as, you know, take our board super tall. He hasn't been able to chip at life as much as he'd probably like to. I'm not sure if maybe that's what his Sabo should be doing here, at least like one of the Sabos. Just trying to chip at life, get me to a spot where I'm not going to be able to defend. But mid-game, I actually had a trade going. My buddy was looking at my trade binder, and I ended up picking up the Altart Lucci leader from him. So you'll see he's just going to put down the Altart Lucci leader here for me in just a second. But yeah, my camera is going crazy with the rotations. But I have Moria, which, yeah, obviously just seems like the right answer. I can get the Rebecca that's at the bottom of the trash out. Putting up another blocker is really useful for us. I don't think Brook is really going to do me much in future turns, so I don't hate the idea of playing Brook here off of Rebecca, but I just don't think it's really useful. Lucci, since I know that my board's going to get only taller, I don't think Lucci is really useful for us here either. I'm just hoping to pick up a 2k off of Spandam if possible, and unfortunate for us, I do not get one. I just end up getting the Tempest Kick, and I have no 2ks to pick up out of trash either. My choices are very limited, so I just pick up Spandine just for a 1k counter, and I get the Tempest Kick. Unfortunate for me, though, I think I end up making the mistake of just passing the turn here. I don't think Tempest Kick is realistically ever going to be useful for me in this matchup, considering we have Issho on the board. So I could have just used Tempest Kick to cycle a card and potentially draw into some counter power, and just have, like, I don't know, some other option in hand. Just dig through the deck a little bit, you know. And unfortunately, I don't know. I think a little bit of an oversight on my part. But my opponent, obviously, like, the way that he's been playing doesn't feel like he has great options. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like he has great options. I feel like he's wanted to get one of those 5-cost Luffys onto the board, but he just hasn't really been able to. But he does hit me with a Hiyori here, at least now, with another 2-cost. Yep, so this is going to be Luffy. Bringing out the 5-cost Luffy, so at least brings him down to 2 life and leader up to 7, so he can start pressuring life a little bit. He's still got 5 Dawn to work with, which is plenty too. So even if he just wanted to swing with Garp, you know, like a 7k with Garp, and like a 7 with leader or something of the sorts. I know that he is definitely not happy to be staring down so many 8 costs like this early in the game. But I like this play a lot. He does get the Flampe and then uses the Luffy effect to trash his last life and gets to draw a card as well. Leader effect now, trashing 1 and then adding 2 back to his life is going to be really solid for him. He's just making sure he knows exactly what's in his life, or in his trash, excuse me, before he trashes the card. And but yeah, this will bring his leader up to 9. At least presents him with a board that the following turn will be kind of annoying for us to deal with. He's going to trash a Moria, though. This is really interesting. So maybe he has 2 Morias in hand, or I'm not entirely sure. Might just be like, I can't afford to do that exactly, which I can definitely respect. But pulls out the Sabo, goes up to 9k, gets to cycle 2 more, and he's going to have a very powerful swing coming at life here shortly. Cycles some of the kids out there, and I think he leaves himself with only like 3 cards in hand, but very powerful swing. Definitely just going to block with Rebecca here. I am considering whether or not I want to be blocking. I think this is just a very easy block since he didn't save the 1 Dawn for Sabo. I thought for sure that he would swing 7 with one of the Sabos, considering he knows that I can't KO him this turn at least, and it allows me to potentially just swing into that Sabo, which is a free pseudo block for him. Putting it in trash is always useful. I have no way to remove his board, but I do have another Moria I can play. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Tempest Kick, which isn't going to be useful for me here at all. Like, at all. I definitely should have used it the previous turn as well, but I'm just bringing down his... Yep, there we go. Yeah, I'm just bringing down his Luffy to a 1 cost. Not that it's relevant by any means, but I actually think that Actually, I think it is relevant because I think I make a mistake here if I remember correctly. I use my Moria and I bring out Rebecca Brooke, not remembering that he had just played the Sabo, so that was my own fault. Oh no, I didn't. Oh, I thought I forgot. I'm so proud of myself. I didn't forget. And then I swing 2 9s, and then I'll just pass it back over. Okay. Definitely thought I was about to make that mistake because I know I've made that in the past and been like, oh geez, what am I doing? Totally forgot that, you know, he hit me with the Sabo this turn. But 8 cost Moria, obviously pretty problematic for us, but look at our board. I mean, we've got 3 8 costs, we've got a Sabo and a Rebecca to stay protected. I think he did realize that he wanted to swing with one of the Sabos first. So, you know, this is just locals. Obviously, you know, we're definitely just going to let each other, you know, do what we need to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and block, hit him with a counter. And now he's going to go ahead and Moria, trashing 2, bringing out a Luffy and obviously a Sabo, because we're just going to use the Luffy first to get that out. And I am stupid, and I just realized and pointed at it. I was like, yeah, you had a Rocket Luffy in hand. Why didn't I just block with that? I'm so silly. Like, I blocked him 1K'd when I should have just been blocking with that the entire time. So, learning lesson there. But now he's going to get a Sabo down as well, which is going to be very useful for him. I don't think he's going to get to use the Luffy effect unless he really wants to trash that and go to 0 life, but it seems a little scary to do so when I have 3 8 costs on the board. So he could just swing with it at 6, which I believe he is going to do. He's just going to swing 6 into my Sabo. I will give him a 1K, and now he's considering whether he wants to go 11 into the big characters or into Sabo. I do have the 2K, 1K to get out of it, but that's realistically all I'm working with. And now I believe he's just going to pass it over. And there was a little cut right there because both of us had to get up and go and pay for the entry for locals. This was just a match beforehand. So we are, yeah, getting back into it, and he passes turn over to me. I have a very terrifying board for him to be staring down right now. I do go ahead and use the Tempest Kick right here to pick up a Brook, which actually is pretty solid, all things considered. It looks as though the screen got a little blurry because my glasses made an entrance there in the bottom right. I'm just thinking about whether I want to be using the Brook to remove one of his Sabos or if I want to be removing one of his Morias here. I know that his board is protected, so unfortunately I can't use the 8 cost Sabo as much as I want to. I think that's probably a card I should have been pitching a little bit earlier in the match, but you live and you learn. And I do use the Tempest Kick on Moria to bring it down to a 5 cost, and then Leader Swing to bring it down to a 4 cost. So it looks as though I'm going the route of Brook to try and remove that problem from the board. We still have 3 life. We're very healthy. I still have a blocker that's been, you know, up and active the entire game. So this is really... We're just in a great spot. We saw all of our 8 costs. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. We are quite literally just seeing everything, and it's all gravy. So now that I've got the Luffy out of the way, I can start chipping 9. I can just go 9 to life multiple times, hopefully getting some blocks along the way. I have 2 Dawn that eventually can be attached to one of my Morias as well, or Issho. So I'm just going to swing 9 and probably 9 9 11 or maybe 9 10 10 just to see if I can get some 2Ks, force some 2Ks or blocks out of his hand. The 9 is going to bottom deck the Luffy, and it looks as though I'm going the 10 route. So I'm going to go 10 just to force him to have both have 2Ks. He blocks with Sabo, and now I can just rest 6, use my Brook, trashes Moria, and I'll go ahead and pass it over. And realistically, I don't think there's any coming back for Black Yellow Luffy here. This is a matchup that is normally like absolutely horrendous for Lucci, but I do think that we got very fortunate seeing a lot of our 8 costs like at the right times, and then also simultaneously just my opponent not being able to see, you know, maybe some of the life reduction, you know, capabilities that the deck has earlier on in the matchup. And yeah, I thought it was pretty solid though, you know, because it's not every day that Lucci is able to beat Black Yellow Luffy. It usually comes down to, if I'm being honest with you, quite a bit of luck. It's just, hey, can I draw well and can they draw bad? That's that's always great. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, and what do you guys think about this matchup? Do you think it is winnable for Lucci? You know, maybe there's some sauce I'm missing there. And other than that, I will catch y'all in the next one. All right, peace.